Hello everybody! So today's video is going to be a little different because I'm going to be talking about my one true love, photography. I have been a photographer for probably about, I want to say upwards of 6 years now, and I love it. It really is my absolute passion. It's definitely what I want to do with my life. I want to start posting more, and I figured that there's nothing better to post than something that I know a lot about, so I decided to post about photography. I'm actually in my photo studio right now. I'm in a temporary living situation, and so this is my temporary photo studio. I have my background set up back here, and I have my lighting in front and in back. I actually do need to invest in some new lighting because in the process of moving, a few things got lost, a few things got broken, so I do need to invest in a new lighting setup. But that's probably going to come in another video. I'll do an unboxing or something like that. Today, I'm going to be talking about beginner photography. So whenever I was just starting out, there wasn't really a lot that I knew about photography. My mom kind of just bought me a camera and we went to the mountains and I just took pictures of flowers and things like that, and I just fell in love. But through my experience and through the immense amount of practice that I've gotten, I have a lot of tips that I feel like I can give people who want to be photographers. Main thing that I am going to say before I start this video is that it is not a competition. If you are a photographer and there are other people around you that are into photography, it is not a competition between y'all. Your clients are going to come if they want to come to you. If they want to go to somebody else, they're going to go to somebody else. It's not up to you or them that really determines who is going to get clientele. So it's not a competition. That's what you have to remember firsthand. You have to focus on yourself and your love for taking pictures, or it will just not work out for you. I'm going to give a little bit of my experience, what I've gone through, and then I'm going to go ahead and go through some tips. So like I said, I started photography about 6 years ago. My mom bought me a camera on Christmas. It was a little red digital camera. I took it up to the mountains, took some pictures of flowers, the cabin, the street, cars, just little things like that, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. I still have printouts of some of the very first pictures that I've ever taken. Whenever I did first start photography, I kind of fell into abstract. That was kind of the thing that I wanted to do, was abstract photography. So I would take pictures of like straws bundled up together and make it look like, I don't know, just weird. And I would take pictures of buildings from different angles, and I just loved that idea of how a different perspective could change the picture entirely. So I did start out with abstract. But as I started to grow and learn a little bit more, I decided that abstract really wasn't where I wanted to. I actually asked for my first DSLR camera for Christmas. I've known about my Christmas presents before Christmas for years now because I wrap all the gifts in the house. Nobody else wraps them. I wrap my own gifts. I wrap everybody else's gifts. So I was like, you know what, since I know about my gifts anyways, I would really like this Canon camera. And it was actually a Canon Rebel XTI. That was my first DSLR camera, and that is what I started my business with. Now, the Canon Rebels are actually a very great brand, a good branch of cameras to have, especially if you're a beginner. I actually still use a Canon Rebel right now, and what I'm filming on, it is a Canon Rebel T5i, and I would still highly suggest the Rebels. I think they're a very good investment. I think that the picture quality is amazing, the video quality is amazing, and they're really worth it. So if you're interested in buying a beginner camera and you want a DSLR instead of a digital, I highly recommend the Canon Rebels because they work fantastic. I honestly could not tell you the first time that I ever charged for a picture. I know I started doing prom pictures. I did them for free. That was the first time I really did anything, was I took some prom pictures, and I think I still have a couple. I'm going to insert them up here. I did them for free. There was 2 couples that I did in the same day, and the pictures were absolutely amazing. I had invested in a great lens. It was a 75mm, no, I'm sorry, it was a 100mm lens. It was a great investment. The pictures were absolutely amazing. I did not like that I had to stand so far away from the subject, but the aperture on that camera is absolutely beautiful, and I absolutely loved it. So I took some prom pictures then, and they were free, and after that I kind of started to realize that I could charge for this. This could be my job because this is what I love and I'm good at it, so I can make money with it. So I kept on from there. Senior pictures, prom pictures, everything. It was all just people, couples. I actually did one wedding, and that is a story for another video, but I screwed that up. I screwed up wedding pictures for somebody, and it was for family, and they were still grateful for the pictures, but that's for another video, and I will post a video on that, mistakes that I've made. But moving on from there, There was a point in my photography game where I started to focus more on the money than I did on the photography and my love of the photography, and the picture showed. The picture showed that I was not focused on the art of it. I was focused on the money-making aspect. And that is one mistake that I will put forth right now. Do not make that mistake. Do not focus more on the money. Do not focus on the competition. You have to focus on why you're taking pictures, why you love it. If it's your job, it's your job. You know, not everybody likes their job, but you have to focus on your passion for it, because otherwise your pictures are going to show and it's just not going to be quality work. But lately I've decided to really push my photography. I'm actually moving here in about 6 months to a bigger city so that I can really focus on pushing my newborn photography, my wedding photography, engagements, because it's special moments like that made me realize why I fell in love with photography in the first place. Those prom pictures of those couples, I mean, the love that was shown through them was absolutely inspiring, absolutely amazing, and I could not imagine anything better than to do that for the rest of my life. Okay, so now that I've gotten myself out of the way and kind of told a little bit about my story, I'm going to talk about some tips for you. And even though I've already given a couple, I'll probably repeat them. Again, tip number 1. Do not focus on the money. If you're going to start charging, I cannot stress enough that you do not need to focus on the money. There's pricing ranges based on what town you live in, what kind of pictures you take, your experience, things like that, that you can change your prices. And it is important to have a business idea whenever you go into being a photographer, but you cannot focus on the money. You can't decide that I'm doing this because I'm gonna make something of it. You know, you have to focus on your passion, otherwise you're not gonna get anywhere with it. And I have learned that the hard way. But that is my number 1 tip for you all, is just to focus on your passion. My second tip is to invest in some lighting. Okay, now this seems like it's not a very big deal, especially if you're going to be taking pictures outside and everything like that, but let me tell you, you will use lighting. In every situation you will use lighting, whether it's an off-camera flash, whether it's an on-camera flash, whether it's lighting just like what I have here, whether it's a ring light, anything like that, you will need that, because first of all, you will not always be able to take pictures outside. The weather won't always allow it, the client won't always want it, the ideas for the photo shoot won't always allow it, so you will not always be able to take pictures outside in perfect daylight with absolutely perfect weather conditions. You're not always going to have that, and I mean, like, yes, I've been very lucky to have that with a lot of my pictures, but you won't always have that. So do invest in a good lighting, a good setup. Amazon has fantastic lighting, fantastic background setups, all of that for very cheap. It's where I've gotten all of mine, and it's where I'm going to continue purchasing mine probably for the rest of my life. Okay, tip number 3 is learn how to market. If you're going to turn your photography into a business, you need to learn how to market. This is something that I'm actually still struggling with myself, and it's a lot because marketing can cost some money. Sometimes it can really cost some money to get your advertisements on Google, to get your advertisements boosted to people on Facebook that you're not friends with. It can cost some money, and I hate to do that to you, but there are ways that you can market without having to pay a single dime, such as social media. Social media is a huge deal when it comes to photography, because that's where people are constantly. People are always on their phones, always on social media, always looking at Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of that. So if you want people to see your work, you need to post it where they are going to be the most. So for me, for instance, I have like over 1,000 followers on Instagram. I'll link my Instagram down below, by the way. I have over 1,000 followers on Instagram, so as much as I can, I try to boost my photography on Instagram. I have an Instagram page for my photography, but it doesn't have near as many followers, so I try to push people over there. I try to post my pictures as much as I can on my main account, everything I can that I know people are going to see. My Twitter is another thing. My Twitter's kind of private. I will post it down below, but it's a little different. I don't really like to post my photography on there as much, but I still do, just every now and then to get people's attention and to get them engaged. I also have a website, which websites are actually really fun and easy to make, especially if you already have a creative eye. If you're already a photographer and you have a creative side, it's really fun to make a website. And I actually use Wixsite, and it's free. I mean, there's upgrades that you can have, but generally it's free to create your website, and that's a really great space. So if you're interested in just creating a brand for yourself, that's a great way to start, is by making a website. Tip number 4 is decide what kind of photographer you want to be. Like I said, whenever I started, I swore I wanted to be an architecture photographer. I wanted to travel the world as soon as I got out of high school. I wanted to take pictures for, you know, all kinds of magazines and for like buildings and all of this. Like, I just wanted to travel to Greece and take pictures of the architecture there and travel to Italy, like so many places. That was my dream. And that actually is no longer my dream. Now that I've gotten older, I am ready to settle down. I'm ready to start a family. I'm ready to focus on all of these things that are going to develop into my future. And so I have really decided that my passion and my focus is on portrait photography. And that ranges everywhere from newborns to weddings to couples to engagements to just senior pictures, which is a great cash flow because a lot of seniors want their pictures taken professionally to display for their grandparents, for the school, for the yearbook, for everything. So I have decided that my passion is portrait, and there's so many different kinds of photography that you can get into. There's wildlife, there's portrait, there's architecture, there's nature, you can decide if you want to shoot for a magazine, you can decide if you want to shoot for yourself, just for your friends and family. There's so many things that you can decide you want to do, and it's really important that you find one and you really focus on that, because that's going to contribute to your future and your brand name. I think this is tip number 5, I'm not sure, but one very, very important thing is that you have to put out quality work. And the thing that took me a long time to realize was that you can't always sit around and wait for someone to come to you. You can't just sit around and say, I'm waiting for a client, I'm waiting for a client, I'm waiting for a client. You have to get out there and you have to shoot, because photography is just like everything else. You're going to get better with practice. And if you don't practice, you're not going to get any better. So it is important that you just find family, find friends, find someone that you can just take pictures of. Just say, hey, you want to come into the studio for a minute and take some pictures? Let's do that. Hey, let's go outside. It's a beautiful day outside. Let's take some pictures with these flowers. Take some pictures in the snow. Things like that. And whenever you're building your business, it's also really important to remember the difference between you asking someone to take their picture and someone asking you to take their picture. That comes into the money issues. You asking someone to take their pictures to build your portfolio, they don't have to pay. That's not something that you charge people for. If you ask them, they shouldn't have to pay. But if someone comes and asks you to take pictures and you're trying to build a business, it's something that you need to charge for. Even if you asked that person beforehand to take their pictures and they're now asking you and it was free the first time, you still need to charge the second time. And that's just something that you have to get through the minds of your clients. You have to let them know this is a business. The photography equipment is very expensive. The lighting equipment is very expensive. The prints are very expensive. It takes a lot of time, a lot of creativity, everything. It is a business and it's something that you have to invest in. You have to invest in yourself. And that actually brings me to my 6th tip, I think, is that you have to invest in yourself. If you're doing this and you are good at it and you feel like this is what you want to do, then you have to invest in yourself. You have to be proud of yourself. You have to take credit for your work. You have to build yourself up, because if you sit there constantly just talking about yourself in derogatory terms, just talking about how you're not good enough and maybe this isn't what you should do, that's not going to work. You have to be confident in your ability. I just heard a really weird noise, so I'm going to try and wrap this up as quickly as possible. Okay, so I heard a really scary noise, so I'm going to try and wrap this up as quick as I can. But like I said, you have to invest in yourself. Invest in your good camera, your good lighting equipment, all of that. And do not fight me on this. You do not need all of the fancy equipment to take good pictures, but if you are going to be charging for clientele, you need to have the best possible environment for every single picture, because this is something that they're paying for. Sometimes they're paying a lot of money for it. So you want them to have the best outcome and the best product that you are selling them. So just invest in yourself. Be proud of your work. If it's something you want to do, then just go for it. It really is fantastic. And I'm so glad that I get to do this and that it is a part of my life and that I do get paid for it. It's awesome. I'm really grateful for it. So if you have any other questions, comment down below. I'll probably make a part 2 on this video sometime very soon, hopefully, especially now that I have all of my studio set up, my temporary studio. I'm also going to link my Twitter, Instagram, website, Etsy. I actually sell on Etsy. One second. Say hello to my little sock monkey. I actually am selling on Etsy. This right now is a child's beanie. It does have my trademark logo on there, AM, Andrea Martin Photography. This is just something else that I'm doing for my brand, selling little knickknacks. I actually knitted this myself. I knit, I sew, so I'm going to be selling some things on my Etsy very soon. It is a part of the Andrea Martin Photography brand, so if you're interested, that'll be linked down below as well. I do custom orders on there. If this video was helpful at all, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe, turn on the notifications bell, and I will probably be posting a lot more videos on photography and a lot more videos in general. So if you enjoyed, just go ahead and comment down below, let me know, and I will see you guys in my next video.